Welcome back, everyone. Today, I wanted to do a little bit of a different type of video for you. Are you looking for a physical therapist or the best physical therapist? Or maybe you're looking for a PT practice that just has the right fit for you. You may be currently in physical therapy care and it doesn't feel like it's the path you need to be on. Well, this video is for you. I understand finding the best PT for you is a difficult process. As you do your homework, you may go to websites, and I understand a lot of PT websites sound similar. So I wanted to help you today to make this process easier. My name is Michael O'Connor. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I've been practicing for over 25 years. Over that time, many patients have moved out of the area. I keep in touch with many, so I get inquiries all the time to help me find the right fit for me. I can't find the right practice like we had in your area. So today I want to share with you the three criteria that I've used over the years to make this process as easy as possible so you can find the best PT for you. You may also be wondering, why would I need to do this as a physical therapist myself? Well, when my parents moved to Florida, they needed some PT care, and I didn't know anyone in that region. So, this is a specific process that I use to help them find phenomenal therapists in their area. And stay with me till the end because I'll share a website with you and walk you through the step by step process to make this as easy as possible. Let's take a look. So, the first thing that you can consider are the credentials of the physical therapist, the actual degree that they have. Back in the 1950s, the physical therapy profession was actually a certification. In the late 50s, early 60s, it actually changed to become a baccalaureate degree. So you may find physical therapists that have the initials PT after their name. Later on in the 80s, our profession advanced and it became a master's program. When I graduated in the late 1990s, I graduated with a Master of Science in Physical Therapy. So that was an MSPT. You may also find MPT, Master of Physical Therapy. Fast forwarding, our professional association, the American Physical Therapy Association, actually mandated that all programs be at the doctorate level by 2020. This was attained early, actually around 2016. So, what you'll see in the United States these days are most physical therapists have DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy. And one specific point I want to make here, I don't want you to discount the degree itself. Some of the best physical therapists that I've ever been around have PT after their name. And I've heard patients say, oh, they have a PT, and then I have a chance to see a DPT. I want to go to the doctor every time, the doctor of physical therapy. But keep one thing in mind. Those that are practicing with PT after their name graduated many, many years ago. They have the most experience. They often, if they're still doing in person care, they often are involved in research. So, again, I wouldn't discount the PT or MSPT or MPT or the DPT degrees. All can be phenomenal, but something to take a look at. The second area to consider is specialization. The American Physical Therapy Association currently has 10 board certifications that are available. These range from orthopedics to neurology to oncology to sports medicine. So there are many specializations, which means that those practitioners have gone on to receive additional training and additional education in these specific areas. Now, something to keep in mind here, you want to try to match your specific needs to the specialization if that's what you're seeking. Let me give you an example of this. In my practice, we saw every individual from teenagers to some getting close to 100 years of age. Some of the patients that were in their 70s and 80s were very high level athletes in my practice. They were the pickleball champion of this town I was in. They were road bikers performing 50, 60, even 100-mile rides on the weekends. So, if you are a very active senior, you may look for the specialization of sports medicine or orthopedics. If maybe you are in your 70s and 80s and have had several orthopedic issues, possibly some joint replacements, or you're managing several diagnoses and you have difficulty moving in bed or getting out of chairs or ambulating stairs, you might want to look for the geriatric specialization. So, once again, just make sure the specialization of the practice matches your specific needs. And finally, my number one criteria that I look for is practice setting, literally meaning, where is the physical therapist practicing? Is it a corporate setting? You can often determine that when you look at their website. They often have several hundred locations. Is it a hospital based setting? You can often determine that because the name of the hospital or health system is attached to the outpatient orthopedic practice. My preference, and I do admit I am biased because this was my practice setting, I look for privately owned, which means owned by physical therapists, orthopedic outpatient practices, private physical therapy practices. And for those of you who know my story from other videos, I opened my practice the day after I graduated from physical therapy school. Why did I do that? Because I knew I wanted to practice at a very specialized level. I wanted as much time as I needed with each patient. I wanted to be the best practice in the area and worry about quality of care and not have to worry about volume. So that's one of the reasons private practices exist. Those are often practitioners that are looking to be at the top of our game. Unfortunately, I have seen many skilled manual therapists, meaning working with their hands, actually working on you in the sessions. I've seen many manual physical therapists that I consider trapped in the wrong practice environment. So, a couple things you may consider and some questions you might want to ask before you start PT. And remember, it's always easier to choose another location than to start at one, then do your homework and realize it's not the right fit and you have to change to another location. So, try to get these questions answered before you start. One of the most important questions: will I be one on one with the licensed physical therapist in my sessions? And if I will be one on one with that PT, how long is a typical session? And how long will I be with the physical therapist in the session? I always hated to hear that people were in PT for an hour and a half. But in the first 5 to 10 minutes, the PT came in, took some measurements, started the care, and then they were passed to support staff, which leads me to the next question. In my session, will I be with support staff? There is a place and time for support staff, but a majority of the session needs to be with a licensed physical therapist. We need the time to problem solve, keep assessing, and navigate your plan of care. You don't want a majority of your treatment time to be with a support staff member, such as a physical therapy technician or a trainer. So see if you can clarify how much time you'll be with that licensed therapist. As I mentioned, my practice was manual therapy care. So we worked with our hands, with the patient a majority of the time. If you have a stiff, very difficult to move shoulder, and it's because the joint itself is tight and restricted, manual therapy is a phenomenal way for us to help get your body part moving. Then it's your turn to do your homework, and we give you that homework promptly after mobilizing it. Does the practice implement manual therapy care, hands on care? It's not appropriate for every diagnosis and every single session, and it doesn't have to be done the entire session. But most orthopedic issues need some level of hands on care, so make sure your practice setting is providing that. And finally, ask to see the practice before you start. Can you peek in, take a quick tour? I used to love it when patients would ask me if they could come in and see my practice because I knew they were going to be impressed by our environment. Our therapists were engaged with patients. There were support staff members, but those are working around the one on one PT care with the doctor of physical therapy or the licensed physical therapist. I also knew that as I brought a potential patient around the practice, our current patients were going to be telling them, this is the place. So we were confident we had a great environment. And as I always said, there was nothing to hide. Come on in, let's take a tour, let us show you everything before you go through the whole process to enroll. And now I promised you a website where you can go through these three criteria and really simplify the process so you can get a list of names and start doing additional due diligence on what's the best fit for you. The website you can visit is choosept.com. This website is sponsored by the American Physical Therapy Association. Again, that's our professional association. As practitioners, we have the option to list our credentials, specialization, and discuss our practice setting on this website. It tends to be the practitioners that I often recommend, the ones that are private practice owners and are providing a different level, a very high level of skilled orthopedic, often manual therapy care. So let's take a look at the website itself. When you log on to choosept.com, you'll see in the top right corner there's a button where you can find a physical therapist. Here, all you need to do is enter your condition or your specialty, or you could just enter your city itself. Let's say you live in El Paso, Texas. You'll find that there are several practitioners spread throughout the El Paso, Texas area. This is where you can find if someone is an orthopedic specialist or a geriatric specialist. And notice it provides the years of experience and usually a website where you can further look at their practice online. But let's say there's too many practices that came back and you want to narrow it down. You can go back in, instead of putting the city, you can put your specific zip code. And maybe you want to just be within 10 miles of your current location. As you can see, this site has now narrowed it down for you. You can further narrow your options and enter something such as knee pain. This will provide results for practitioners that are in your zip code, are only within 10 miles, and provide treatment for knee issues. I hope you found this process helpful. There's so many variables that you can tinker with in the choosept.com website, and it will save you so much time and frustration because you don't want to start your rehab, your PT care in the wrong practice. So thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment if you were able to find a phenomenal PT through this 3 criteria process I walked you through. Stay tuned for upcoming videos, and we'll see you soon.